This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good day, I'm Elena Rusk. We begin with some developing news out of West Bakersfield as a man is reportedly shooting at passing cars on Stockdale Highway this morning. The Kern County Sheriff's Office reports they got the call a little after 9 a.m. for a report of a man with a gun along the busy road on the west side of town between Highway 43 and the junction of the West Side Parkway. When deputies got to the scene, they say that man was dead in a field, apparently from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Detectives have taken over the investigation, shutting down traffic in that area for a while. Of course, one of our other top stories, all of this weather. Governor Newsom has declared a state of emergency for California, which allows for a quick response and aid in cleanup from the storm, coming just days after that New Year's weekend system that brought so much devastating flooding and damage to many communities, particularly in Northern California. Now, as forecasted, those dramatically fast winds came howling through Kern County yesterday into the overnight hours. The winds also blamed for knocking over a tree onto a business on H Street in central Bakersfield. Now, as of this morning, no major reports of widespread outages, but there were about 24 smaller outages reported by PG&E. None of them, thankfully, though, appeared to last for very long. And a devastating storm update from Northern California. A baby killed in the city of Occidental, that's in Sonoma County, when a tree fell on a house. The child between the ages of 1 to 2 years old. He was in the house with his mother and father, neither of whom were hurt. Now, as yesterday's winds are dying down, the rain moved in this morning, and now that weather is turning to powerful thunderstorms for the rest of the day. State officials are warning that the storm could be one of the most damaging for California in the last 5 years. Local law enforcement, first responders, and power companies all say they have extra hands prepared and ready to respond to any weather emergencies today. The CHP and the California Office of Emergency Services recommends staying put if possible today. Now, PG&E reminding people, if you see a downed power line, do not go near it. Instead, call the Bakersfield Police Department and let them know at 327-7111. You can also call for blocked storm drains, that number 326-3111. And to report any more downed trees, call 326-3866. Very helpful there. All right, now to our coverage of Capitol Hill. On the third day of voting for Speaker of the House, Bakersfield's Congressman Kevin McCarthy's fate still hanging in the balance. This, of course, day 3 of a standoff between McCarthy and 20 of his colleagues who are withholding their support that the Republican leader needs. Today, the 7th and 8th roll call for votes failed to elect a speaker yet again. Overnight, NBC News reported McCarthy made further concessions in order to break this stalemate, including a new deal that would allow just one House member to call for a vote to remove the speaker at any time. As the vote showed today, that wasn't enough. The impasse has left the House unable to fully form and govern. McCarthy's conservative detractors appear intent on waiting him out, while he says he'll continue to fight for that gavel as long as it takes. Of course, we will keep counting the votes today and bring you the latest on our website, kgat.com, throughout the afternoon, along with a recap tonight on 17 News at 5. And 17 News, your local election headquarters, now 8 weeks after Election Day, and a new twist last night in the highly contested race for California's 16th Senate District seat. Republican candidate David Shepard paid for a recount after Democratic incumbent Melissa Hurtado beat him by only 20 votes back in November. But now Senator Hurtado is requesting a recount of Kern's ballots, claiming only 1/5 of the ballots were asked to be recounted here, suggesting those ballots were from precincts that were the most favorable to Shepard's campaign. 17's Michaela Armstrong has the latest.
The battle of 20 votes continues as both candidates have requested a recount of the ballots cast in the 16th state Senate district race. Challenger David Shepard requested the first recount in December for 4 counties. Now incumbent Melissa Hurtado is requesting a recount in only Kern County. Her camp said it's a preventative measure, not a reflection of the votes. Hurtado's camp says Shepard requested recounts of only precincts where he did well. Hurtado wants a complete recount of the whole county. Fresno County and Kings County are where Shepherd has had the most success, and Hurtado and Tulare in Kern counties. Political analyst Neil Senepa says recounting more of Kern County's votes could be bad for Shepherd.
Hurtado was doing very well in Kern County. Throughout the entire count, she had about 57 to 58% of the voters within Kern County. So if that is all that's left to be recounted, then that is bad news for Mr. Shepherd.
Michaela Armstrong, 17 News.
All right, this latest recount beginning this morning at 9 a.m. and it will continue every day until it's completed. All right, we're going to turn now to your 17 Court Watch. A Bakersfield man convicted of murder 40 years ago is now one step closer to walking out of prison. Cedric Struggs was convicted of first-degree murder back in 1980 after a robbery he was involved in, along with two other suspects, ended in the shooting death of Alfred Joe Dishman. Though Struggs didn't pull the gun or fire the shots, he was sentenced to 25 years to life under a rule that allowed a murder conviction if the defendant had committed a dangerous felony that resulted in the death of another person. Now, that law changed back in 2019, and it's retroactive, meaning those convicted can be resentenced for their crimes and potentially released. A court of appeals ordered Struggs' case re-examined, and at a hearing in Kern County today, his murder conviction was set aside. Family of the now 60-year-old were jubilant outside the courtroom. Struggs will remain in custody, however, until he is resentenced on February 2nd for the underlying robbery charge. In another local case this morning, a judge ordered a second competency exam for a man charged with murder in the shooting death of a man in Oildale last April. 39-year-old Jarrett Parrott is charged with first-degree murder for the shooting death of 62-year-old Daryl Luis Del Rio on Minner Avenue, south of Norris Road and near the Westchester area, or North Chester area, Parrott will be examined by a clinical psychologist who will render an opinion on whether he understands the criminal proceedings against him and can help his attorney in preparation of a defense. The first psychologist found Parrott incompetent, but prosecutor Hunter Starr noted the doctor expressed concerns that Parrott may be malingering. If he is found incompetent in this new evaluation, he will be sent to a state hospital until he is restored to competency.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Making news around town, a case of mistaken identity has caused a great deal of distress and alarm for local animal lovers here in town. Social media sites have been fired up over reports of Mount Vernon Animal Shelter closing at the end of this month. The postings have stated that up to 20 cats and dogs might be euthanized as a result of the closing. Compassionate residents have been spreading the story in an attempt to rehome as many animals as possible before the end of the month. But Mount Vernon, this animal shelter, is based in Mount Vernon, New York, not the one here in Bakersfield. Our local Mount Vernon shelter confirms they are not closing, and they have plenty of wonderful animals waiting to find their forever homes if you still want to stop by and help out with that rush to adopt. And a reminder, the Bakersfield Kern Regional Homeless Collaborative needs 500 volunteers for its 2023 point in time count. The annual count provides a snapshot of homelessness here in Kern County. Results are used to allocate resources to address homelessness and apply for federal and state funding. The point in time count happening Wednesday, January 25th. There's a link on our website, kgat.com, if you'd like to sign up and help. All right, now to the coronavirus. As the COVID-19 cases surge in China, the U.S. now expanding their traveler surveillance program, an early warning system for detecting new variants. With the addition of Los Angeles now and Seattle, there are 7 airports where volunteer passengers can swab themselves as they arrive. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention program now covers about 500 flights, including more than half from the region of China. Today, the CDC also began requiring travelers from China, Hong Kong, and Macau to test negative for COVID-19 before flying to the U.S. Meanwhile, scientists want to see more screening of wastewater from arriving airplanes. And the new year bringing a new COVID variant of concern. The World Health Organization saying that Omicron strain we were telling you about, XB1.5, has now become the dominant strain in the U.S. in just a matter of weeks. The northeastern U.S. and some parts of Europe getting the hardest hit by this right now. Experts are concerned about the growth of the variant, saying it could drive a new wave of cases. It's still unknown if this strain is more severe or if it could cause more fatalities. Meanwhile, U.S. health officials say people should get their boosters, test before attending large gatherings, and wear a mask in crowded indoor places. So with all of that, let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 case numbers here locally as the Kern County Public Health updated their dashboard this morning to reflect 2,098 new positive cases and 4 new local deaths. State data shows we have 76 patients hospitalized with COVID and 10 are listed in local intensive care units. And let's continue your 17 Health Watch. The start of January bringing in the new year with a renewed call for blood donations as we kick off National Blood Donor Month. If you've been on the fence about donating, reconsider because it could really help save someone's life. The Red Cross says every 2 seconds someone in this country is in need of a blood transfusion. Donating usually takes about 10 minutes of your time. Some places even offer great incentives like gift cards. Here at home, Houchin Community Blood Bank says they are always in need of donations. In a call to action yesterday, Houchin said Kern County's severe blood shortage will continue unless people do their part to donate, adding, quote, "This is not us crying wolf, this is life and death." If you'd like to donate, it's easy. Call Houchin at 323-4222. Personally, I'm getting close to working on my 3rd gallon, and I hate needles. The phlebotomists there are so great. I just turn my head and it's done, and I get a free snack. It's pretty great. You can help save a life. Well, in 17 business news, if you were impacted by the Southwest Airlines cancellations and delays before or during the Christmas holiday, you could be looking for an email from the company anytime now. The airline offering affected travelers 25,000 frequent flyer miles. Southwest also extending companion passes and A-list status for some customers, but they require you to create an account in order to claim the points. The Biden administration says Southwest must make their customers whole by paying for coach flights, rental cars, and trains to get people to their final destinations during the delays. Congress is also looking into the Southwest meltdown. According to Southwest, passengers whose flights were canceled or significantly delayed beginning December 24th through January 2nd are eligible to request a refund of their unused ticket to the original form of payment. All right, let's turn now to tech news. Tech companies of all sizes showing off their latest products at CES, formerly known as the Consumer Electronics Show. The Las Vegas show getting back to normal after going completely virtual in 2021 and seeing a significant drop in 2022 attendance due to the pandemic. So check this out. LG unveiling a 97-inch OLED TV with what they call Zero Connect that streams content wirelessly. Autonomy showed off their latest delivery robot, which has a self-dispensing feature that means a package can be delivered even if someone's not there to collect it. And HoloRide showing off a VR headset they say can prevent car sickness in passengers. That would help my sister a lot. All right, let's take a look at some headlines from around the nation. President Biden saying the U.S. will immediately begin turning away Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans who are crossing the border from Mexico illegally. It's his boldest move yet to confront the spiraling arrivals of migrants since he took office 2 years ago. The new rules expand on an existing effort to stop Venezuelans attempting to enter the U.S., which led to a dramatic drop in Venezuelans coming to our border. Homeland Security officials said they would begin denying asylum to those who circumvent legal pathways and do not first ask for asylum in the country they traveled through en route to get to the U.S.
Today, I'm announcing that my administration is going to expand the parole program for people not only from Venezuela, but from Cuba, Nicaragua, and Haiti. Again, these 4 countries, Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Haiti, these 4 countries account for most of the people now traveling into Mexico to try to start a new life by crossing the border into the United States of America on the southwest border. We anticipate this action is going to substantially reduce the number of people attempting to cross our southwest border without going through a legal process. And next week, I'm going to travel to Mexico, where I'm going to meet with President López Obrador. We have a big agenda. That ranges from the climate crisis to economic development and other issues. But one important part of that agenda is strengthening our border between our nations. And I will visit the border myself this Sunday in El Paso to assess border enforcement operations, meet with the local officials and community leaders and the folks at the border sending me what they need that they don't have, and make it public what they conclude they need they don't have, to try to convince my Republican colleagues they should do something.
All right, so there it is, today's announcement representing a major revision to immigration rules that will stand even if the U.S. Supreme Court ends the Trump-era public health law that allows American authorities to turn away asylum seekers.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.